Hi, my name is Nathaniel, and today I'm going to be teaching my 4-year-olds during circle time. There are 9 of them, and so I made some name tags for all of them, which they're going to use as placemats when they sit during circle time. I also drew a visual that's going to go on the wall, that would go on the wall behind me, and explain how circle time works, what their expected behaviors are, as well as how they can learn and engage with me and the book for the optimal learning experience, as well as buying a book that is made sure that's for their age and for students a little bit older, so that they feel a little bit of a challenge and that they have to pay attention during the reading to get the most out of it, that we know they can. I also went over some previous modules and assignments to feel prepared and ready for this assignment, as well as making sure that my knowledge is up to par, right? That I feel able to do this. I also want to say thank you to you, Heather, for creating an environment that people like me can be a part of, that can feel comfortable and feel challenged at the same time, kind of like how the kids you've taught feel. I want to say thank you for teaching us things that in the middle of a pandemic are hard to apply, right? As my kids are imaginary today, and that I'm no longer coaching because of the pandemic, but that when I get to go back to coaching, when I get to teach, hopefully later in life, that the skills that you fostered in us through these assignments that have a vast array of difficulty and a vast array of styles, that we feel comfortable and confident going out into the real world and helping kids become better and become smarter and become more engaged and feel comfortable and secure in who they are and in their environments, and that they're going to have adults and however many kids are in our class that you've taught in this year and previous years, that there's going to be that many more young adults equipped to foster those environments for kids and create those passionate relationships and create those engagements and those interactions that fuel the development of kids. And so for that, I want to say thank you, and for making online school during the pandemic one of the better classes I've taken. So thank you, and here we go. I'm reading. Hi, so now everyone, we're going to be reading the Gruffalo, right? So before we start, we got to make sure that everyone has their name tag so that they can use this for the next thing in class, okay? So here, Malik, here you go. Echan, Isaac, here you go. Ashley, Darius, here's yours. Zoe, here you go. Zendaya, Janet, and Leela. You guys go. Okay, everyone hold their name tag, right? Because we want to make sure we have that for our next activity, okay? Just set it on the ground in front of you, right? Before we read, I want to make sure that we go over some rules, right? Where it's super important that everyone's really respectful and listens to me when we're talking, right? When I'm talking, right? When I'm talking, you're not talking. When you're talking, I'm not talking, okay? So first of our circle time rules, we're going to use our quiet voice, right? So we're not going to be super loud. We're just right here in front of each other, so we're just going to talk nice and quiet, okay? We're going to make sure we're looking at my book, right? We're going to make sure we're following along and reading with the teacher, okay? If we have a question, what are we going to do? We're going to raise our hand, right? We're not going to blurt it out. We're going to raise our hand, okay? We're going to ask, all right? We're going to make sure we're listening, right? Doing a great job listening to what I'm reading, so we're engaged, that we're learning, okay? Learning some cool stories, some cool words, right? We're going to make sure we're learning something, right? I want to make sure when we go out for the next activity that we have remembered something from our book, okay? Finally, let's make sure we sit to ourselves, all right? Hands in our lap or by our sides. We're not touching our friends. We're not kicking our friends, okay? All right, we're ready to read? All right, here we go, guys. All right, hey, so as we read the Gruffalo, there's going to be some words that are going to be new, right? That we need to understand to learn the whole story, okay? So before we read the Gruffalo, we got to go over some words that are going to be new in the book, okay? These words, we need to learn them so we can understand the story, okay? The first one is underground. okay? So when we're sitting here on the ground, right? We're at the ground. If a bird flies, right, above the ground, where is the bird? He's up, but he's above the ground, right? So if something lives below the ground or under, what would that be? Like someone who lives in a cave. That'll be underground, right? Underground. Okay. Like where foxes live, right? Our next word is burst. Okay. Do you guys remember when we were playing with the water balloons the other day when it was nice outside and we were throwing water balloons and when they hit the ground, they went, right? They went everywhere. Water went everywhere. That's because the water balloons were bursting, right? They were exploding, right? So when someone bursts something, it explodes. Or if you're laughing really hard and you burst with laughter, what do you think that means? Yeah, that you're laughing really, really hard, right? That laughter is exploding out of you. Perfect. Scrambled is the next one. So scrambled, who eats eggs? Anybody eat eggs in the morning before class? Okay, well, I do. And some of you might, if you ask your parents if you've had eggs before. But sometimes when you eat eggs, you scramble them, like you mix them all up, right? And then there are a bunch of eggs. You came from one egg and then you mix them all up and then they're scrambled. Or, like when we were playing with letters the other day, right? When we're learning to spell our names and we have a bunch of tiles and when you pour the tiles out of the bag, they're everywhere, right? So many tiles everywhere and they're scrambled, right? There are tiles all over the place. And when we put them together, they become complete, right? They go from scrambled to complete. One of the last ones is astounding. Astounding is a bigger word, right? So it might take a while to get it, but astounding is like when something is so crazy that it like blows your mind, right? It's like that water balloon is in your brain and then it bursts, right? It's so crazy, you can barely believe it, right? That's what astounding means, right? Our last one is rumble. Rumble, right? So who's been really hungry before? Yeah? When you're eating eggs? Maybe. So when you're really hungry, sometimes you hear like a in your tummy, right? That means you're pretty hungry. So when your tummy moves because you need to eat, it's rumbling, right? It's moving, okay? So when we're super hungry, sometimes our tummy will rumble because it's our body telling us that it's time to eat, right? So our body starts moving on its own, okay? That's rumbling. All right, who's ready to read the Gruffalo? Yeah? Okay, here we go, guys. The Gruffalo by Julia Donaldson and Alex Scheffler. The Gruffalo. A mouse took a stroll through the deep dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house. It's terribly kind of you, fox, but no, I'm gonna go have lunch with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth and his terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here, by these rocks. And his favorite food is roasted fox. Roasted fox? Oh my, fox said. Goodbye, little mouse. And away he sped. Silly old fox, doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo. Silly fox. On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Join me for tea in my treetop house. It's frightfully nice of you, owl, but no, I'm gonna go have tea with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? Gruffalo, why didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. Where are you meeting him? Here, by the stream. And his favorite food is owl ice cream. Owl ice cream? Too wit, too woo. Goodbye, little mouse. And away owl flew. Silly old owl, doesn't he know? There is no such thing as a Gruffalo. On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. A snake saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come for a feast in my log pile house. It's wonderfully good of you, snake, but no, I'm having a feast with the Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why didn't you know? His eyes are orange. His tongue is black. And he has purple prickles all over his back. Where are you meeting him? Here, by this lake. And his favorite food is scrambled snake. Scrambled snake, it's time I hid. Goodbye, little mouse. And away snake slid. Silly old snake, doesn't he know? There is no such thing as a Gruffalo. Oh, but what is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth and his terrible jaws? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange, his tongue is black, he has purple prickles all over his back. Oh, help! Oh no! It's a Gruffalo! You're my favorite food, the Gruffalo said. You'll look good on a slice of bread. Good, said the mouse. Don't call me good. I'm the scariest creature in this deep, dark wood. Just behind me, and soon you'll see, everyone is afraid of me. Oh, sure, said the Gruffalo, bursting with laughter. You lead the way and all follow after. They walked and walked till the Gruffalo said, I hear a hiss in the grass ahead. It's Snake, said the mouse. Why, Snake, hello. Snake took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh dear, he said, goodbye, little mouse, and slid right back into his log pile house. You see, said Mouse, I told you so. Amazing, said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, I hear a hoot in the trees ahead. Who do you guys think is next? Ooh, must be the owl, right? It's Owl, said the Mouse. Why, Owl, hello. Owl took one look at the Gruffalo. Boo-woo, he said, goodbye, little mouse, and flew right up to his treetop house. You see, said Mouse, I told you so. Astounding, said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, I hear some paws on the path ahead. Who do we think this last one is? That's right, Fox. It's Fox, said the Mouse. Why, Fox, hello. Fox took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh, help, he said, goodbye, little mouse, and ran right into his underground house. The mouse said, Gruffalo, now you see, everyone is afraid of me. But now my tummy is starting to rumble, and my favorite food is Gruffalo crumble. Gruffalo crumble, the Gruffalo said. As quick as the wind, he turned and fled. All was quiet in the deep dark wood. The mouse found a nut, and the nut was good. The end. Alright guys, I'm so glad everyone enjoyed the Gruffalo. It's one of my favorite books, right? I'm glad everyone else liked it too. So now I want you guys to pick up your name tag, right? Hold on to it, and close your eyes, and we're gonna visualize something, okay? We're gonna think about something in our brains with our eyes closed. All right, so close your eyes, everybody, okay? Close your eyes, and we're gonna think of, when we go outside, who are we gonna play with? Which friend are we gonna play with, okay? Now that you have that friend in your mind, what are you guys gonna be playing? You guys gonna be playing on the swings, you're gonna be playing in the sandbox, you're gonna be playing with the dump trucks, okay? And last thing, think of how much fun you're gonna have, right? How excited we are to go outside, right? Perfect. Okay, Now before we go outside, you're gonna pick up your name tag, all right? We're gonna follow me, and we're gonna go hop to our shoes and socks, put them on, and we're gonna go play outside and have a good time, okay? All right, everyone stand up and let's follow me. I think reading the book to the kids went really well as my ability to keep eye contact with them and keep them all engaged through different gestures and through different voices, and kind of in a show through acting that creates engagement and entertainment for the kids to absorb the content. I think there could be definitely some mixed responses to the reading. I think some kids who are more inclined to learn through reading and through group settings like this are going to be really responsive and really engaged in the Gruffalo and the different characters like the fox and the owl who are part of the cast. And some kids who are less inclined are going to have a harder time focusing, having a harder time following along, like myself when I was younger. And so knowing that about myself and knowing that I was a little bit harder as a kid in group settings like this when I wasn't doing something physical means that I'm going to have some kids who are probably like that as well. And so I need to make sure that I'm prepared for that. And when a kid says doesn't want to do something or doesn't want to engage, that I know that it's an essential part of his education or her education, and that I need to be able to bring them in to the situation. I think also some kids could have some great reactions and responses that they really like the reading and that they really want to have more of it, right? And that they might not want it to end, or they might want me to read another book, even though it's time to go outside. I think in terms of teaching, right, I think awareness is huge, and awareness teaching through being able to read different kids and read their ability to engage with me and my ability to engage with them. Seeing how much they're invested in the story, invested in my telling of it, invested in their other classmates can be a big indicator towards my competency as a teacher. If I can look at that and follow along and read the book at the same time, right? As well as being responsive to the kids when they have a reaction that I might not expect or that I do expect, and being able to bring them in, right? As they ask questions, as they want to know more or want to contribute, that I have the ability to respond to their inquiries, to their questions, to their answers in a way that's constructive, in a way that builds conversation, in a way that elaborates upon their interests with the book and their interests with the outside world as well. I think some challenging behaviors, stuff I mentioned a little bit earlier, when I was a kid, right, acting up and having a hard time sitting down and sitting still, drove my mom nuts. But I finally came to a point through teaching that I saw the value in listening and the value of sitting still and the value of engaging in these group conversations and activities that were essential to my development as a young man. And so I might expect some kids to try to get up and leave, and some kids to try to interrupt, some kids to really go along with the story and really want to contribute. And so my ability to respond to all of those in a timely manner and appropriately to further engage everyone and further contribute to the success of the story as an educational experience is essential. I think those challenging behaviors are tough in a group setting, especially when you compare it to a one-on-one or one-on-two setting, that I have that ability to interact with the kid just by myself or with another kid and solve a problem right there. But when it's in a group setting, I don't have that ability to solve that problem without bringing everyone else into it, everyone else hearing about it, right? So that's what makes a group setting a little bit harder when someone doesn't want to engage. I might have done stuff a little bit differently by contacting people who have done this before. Where I think not having kids is really hard for this. I think I'm missing some practice when I was in the gym coaching, but also in an academic setting. So I think I would have spent a little more time talking to people like my mom, who does teach. She's a substitute teacher, so spending time talking to her about how she would have taught, or her experience reading to me as a kid and engaging with me and my teachers in preschool and kindergarten at that age, So spending more time with those resources and making sure that I was more prepared in an instance where kids would be present, so I don't, get caught, in the middle of an answer not having the knowledge or the ability to respond effectively and responsibly.